Hey guys, Sean McInnes here, and I've got Greg Donovan from Volition here to talk to us about Saints Row the Third. Greg, with Saints Row 2, you guys sort of established this trajectory of increasing levels of mayhem and silliness and just outright ludicrousness. Are you continuing that path with Saints Row the Third?
Absolutely. Saints Row the Third is designed to push the limits and envelopes even further than we did on Saints Row 2. I think Saints Row 2 solidified its identity as its separate open-world game, and players and press alike recognize that. And from even the start on Saints Row the Third, it's like, you know what, we're going to push it. We're going to push the envelope across the board, not only in the gameplay, but also with the art direction, the visual effects, the story character models, the situations you find yourself in, the lines of dialogue, everything across the board. This game is all about the over-the-top vision and making sure that that is encompassed in everything you see, do, hear, and experience in the game.
Now, topping the craziness of Saints Row 2 seems like a tough feat. I mean, if you've seen some of the screenshots that I've taken of myself playing that game, you would understand just the sort of levels of insanity that I achieved in Saints Row 2. Give us a few examples of some of the stuff players can expect in Saints Row 3.
Well, first I'd like to say you'd be surprised at how easy it is to push the envelope. You know, when you break it down and it goes with features like weapons, you know, you can call it an airstrike. You get this weapon very early in the game. I mean, that's just an incredible audio and visual effect when you launch that off, and it's something you get early on. As far as the activities, the mini missions and side quests, we have a very experienced team that is actually learning about learning what they based on Saints Row 2 and garnering and solidifying that knowledge and coming out with a better game for us this time around. So it's actually been an iterative process, but a hell of a lot of fun doing it because people are bringing ideas to the table they didn't get in for Saints Row 2. So a lot of the stuff was ready to go there. As far as specific examples, we have an activity called Professor Genki's Super Ethical Reality Climax Show. It's based loosely on the movie The Running Man to give you an idea of where we're headed. We're talking about vertical takeoff and landing jets as part of one of the new flying vehicles that we offer players, and airstrikes, giant dildo bats. It's across the board there. I think it all works out very nice, and players are going to be very, very pleased.
Now, one of the most important components of any open-world sandbox game is always the city itself, the setting. Talk to us about what's going on in Saints Row 3 in terms of where the game is set and what sort of hijinks you can get up to in here.
Saints Row the Third takes place in a fictitious city that is called Steelport. We designed it loosely based on some cities close to the studio, but the important thing for us is let's create a world that fits the vision of the game and also plays well with the gameplay. We didn't want to restrict ourselves with basing it on a real city, and plus that wouldn't make sense for Saints Row. It's as far as what we can expect. Basically, it's a new world for players to explore. We treat the city as a character, so I think that actually adds to the overall attitude of the game, and this time around it's starting from the ground up with new technology allows us to create a visual style that is something that players haven't seen in previous Saints Row games.
Now, Greg, if you've ever seen me play a video game, you'll know that I spend an inordinate amount of time in character editors, character creation engines, and Saints Row 2 definitely had one that was right up my alley. What are you guys doing in Saints Row 3 in terms of character customization and just leaving your fingerprint on the character itself?
I don't think you're going to be disappointed this time around. We're going to take what worked on Saints Row 2 and improve upon it. We're going to make a lot of additions that we know the players are going to like. For example, skin color. Instead of having the standard shades, you're going to be able to create a purple character, a green character, a silver character. Later on in the campaign, we're going to announce something called Sex Appeal, and we'll show you what that slider does. We'll leave it up to your imagination for now. We're going to have the taunts and the compliments and different aspects of personalities you can prescribe to your characters. So as far as being able to create pretty much any character you want, the tools are available for you to do it. And if you spent a lot of time in Saints Row 2, you're going to spend more time in Saints Row the Third's character editor.
All right, sounds good, Greg. One last question I've got for you. When is the game going to be out in stores, and which platforms are you developing for?
Saints Row the Third is releasing on street date on November 15th, 2011 on PS3, 360, and PC.